On today's episode of the Fumblerooski podcast, Javonte Williams gets a 3-year, $24 million extension from the Cowboys. Kyle Pitts gets tagged, and the Bears going to be called the Indiana Bears. Whew. See how that plays. This is the Fumblerooski podcast.
It may not have always showed it in the stat sheet, but you can see him making throws when he needs to make the throws.
Back-to-back games where he has 3 touchdowns.
Someone's got to get that 6 or 7 spot.
He's an elite wide receiver as a rookie.
Truly a lose-lose scenario for both sides.
Welcome to the Fumblerooski podcast by Power 18 Radio and Secret Weapon Consulting. We got CJ, we got Tuck, we got myself, Chris. Got a good one in store for you today. Happy Tuesday. Just about to be in March, but it doesn't really feel like we're getting any closer to spring since the entirety of the Northeast is getting 2 feet of fucking snow. But that's just how it is, unfortunately. If you're in the Northeast, stay warm. Stay inside unless you absolutely have to go outside. But hopefully everyone's staying warm and cozy and safe. I guess I'll also use this time for our final 5 minutes of Olympic talk since the Olympics finally just came to an end. And
Yes.
the United States of fucking America is on top.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
CJ, you were saying you didn't watch the game because you're not a hockey guy. But Tuck,
Okay, yeah. Oh boy, here we go. It's pile on CJ time.
No,
Look,
that's
man,
not what I meant. That's not what I meant. Not what I meant. Tuck, did you watch the game?
I was keeping up with the highlights. I know we were tied going into half.
Half?
And then
Bro, what? Come on, hockey's got 3 periods, right? Like half.
second period or whatever.
Yeah, it was.
Or even I know that.
No, it was
And then
tied.
at the end of the game, it was still tied. And then in the overtime, we had to get the second goal.
Yeah.
I'm not big on hockey, guys. Forgive me.
I've never been more happy to wake up at 8 a.m. for a game than this game in general. And this was, I watched this from beginning to end because I love hockey. I enjoy hockey, of course. And this was easily one of the greatest games I've ever watched in my life. Easily.
I'm happy for you.
Like, just the buildup of this game of USA and like, I'll save my America bias for a moment, but the buildup of this game was probably one of the biggest buildups I've ever witnessed in my life.
Mhm.
And I say that because I wasn't alive for the Miracle on Ice game. Well, none of us were. And what followed suit was poetry in motion. Scoring chance after scoring chance. The goaltenders were playing at the most elite level I'd ever seen in my life. And it was just utterly unbelievable, the gameplay that I watched, or that was watched on Sunday. Connor Hellebuck had probably one of the greatest goaltending performances I've ever seen. 41 saves against like some of the greatest scorers to grace the ice. You had like Canada's top line is all like that entire top line. Their 3 forwards are all in the running for the Hart Trophy. Like that's how insane they are. And just did America catch a couple breaks? Yeah, they did, but they also killed off a 5-on-3, and they also got the fucking job done against and you could say I'm not a big 3-on-3 guy myself. I think it should have been 5-on-5, but Canada shouldn't be complaining about it being 3-on-3 when they had Nathan McKinnon, Connor McDavid, and Cale Makar as their 3 skaters out there to start overtime. That should be game, set, match right there if you're Canada. But the American resolve, baby. And I think Mike Tirico rounded it out best, right? Like the Miracle on Ice game created a new generation of fans. The 2010 Olympics, where Sidney Crosby won an OT against America, was also created a new generation of hockey players in general too, that witnessed heartbreak and a new drive of a generation that led us to here. And Jack Hughes loses a fucking tooth and then scores the overtime winner. Fucking America, man. And then his post game interview afterwards, like, just got me going. I saw a great picture afterwards, and it was Nathan McKinnon. He, like I said, one of the best scorers in the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
Gets it on his stick, point blank, net's wide open, he runs it off the side of the net and just misses the net completely. And I saw a great picture. It was the ghost of Johnny Gaudreau pushing the puck to the side.
Oh,
Rest in peace, Johnny Gaudreau and his brother. But, yeah, all around. Can't get much better than that. Like I said, especially with the buildup of the last few years, and the America and Canada rivalry, Canada's fans booing the national anthem, and then in the Four Nations face-off. And everyone knew this was what was going to happen, was America versus Canada in the gold medal game, and it did not disappoint.
no.
Anything you guys want to add?
No.
Our men's team and our women's team beat Canada.
Yeah. So that's the other thing too, is that both the
2-0.
men's and women's teams in terms of high intense international play, if you account for the World Juniors team as well, America has won the last 4 now in terms of men's and women's, or combined. Since they won the World Junior Championship last year, both men and women, and men and women won in the Olympics this year, which probably 2 of the most dominant, at least on the women's side, probably the most dominant stretch of hockey that has ever been seen. Only 2 goals allowed. And same thing on the men's side too. They didn't allow neither side let up a power play goal the entire run. In fact, the women's team let up more shorthanded goals than they did power play goals. Which you could say what you want about that. Maybe bad, maybe not, but just goes to show like the heart and drive of America, baby. Come on.
You go medals in hockey. Can't complain about that.
Nope. Nope.
And I know for those of you who think this is a football podcast, why are we talking about hockey? Hey, we had 2 reels go up on our Instagram about this. Both, you combine it and net well over 2 million views. So yeah, we're well within our rights to talk about it.
Well, never mind that. It was the biggest story of the weekend. Biggest story of the weekend. You got to talk, especially including America. Come on now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get into some football. Cowboys and Javonte Williams over the weekend agreed to a 3-year, $24 million extension. I think this more has to say about where we're getting at with the running back market. Saquon being one of the highest paid guys from getting one of the highest paid contracts, if not the highest, 2 years ago. And now Javonte Williams, after a very, very good season with Dallas last season, gets a massive extension out of it. I guess the move here, or the question here, is good move or bad move for Dallas. So I'll let you guys respond to that.
I think it's a solid move. They've solidified the running back spot. I still think they need to do more work, specifically because I'm not sure how the RB2 is going to look. But getting Javonte Williams back as the starting running back was a good call. Just came off of a 1,000-yard season, and I think he does what the Cowboys need to do in order to succeed. I don't think he'll be a top 5 running back, but he is a very good running back, and I think he'll do more than enough for what Dak Prescott needs the running game to do. Hopefully, they can fix that offensive line. They have the pass catchers if they can keep picking. So, all in all, I think this helps solidify the offense back to where it was. I think it was solid by the Cowboys to get him back, relatively cheap considering. But all in all, nice move by Dallas, but they still have more things to do.
CJ?
This was absolutely needed for the Dallas Cowboys. He was their entire running game, unless you count Dak's scrambling ability. I'm not really certain who their RB2 is going to be. Like Tuck said, that's something that they're going to have to address either through free agency or the draft. But yeah, Williams, we all know he's very capable. He was 1,000-yard rusher. 3 years, 24 million is, I would say, pretty solid. You're not even shelling out 10 mil a year, which is pretty huge. Shelling out 8 mil. Of course, it's not all guaranteed. So yeah, Dallas still exactly doesn't have the most cap space, and they still have to make the George Pickens decision, which Stephen Jones said they're leaning towards the tag. So maybe something comes of that. Maybe it doesn't. We'll see. But right now, they just, I think, have to create cap space because the issue was never with Williams or Pickens or anything on the offense. It was with the defense. I believe they were the only team last season who had a 1,000-yard or 4,000-yard quarterback, a 1,000-yard rusher, 2,000-yard receivers, and missed the playoffs. So maybe that's something they should look into.
Yeah. No, they got to beef up the defense some way, somehow, but still going to be tough to do that when, you're 25 in the red, or 26 in the red, really. But I guess, like, how do they accomplish that, though, at this rate? Like, they're gonna have to make some difficult cuts.
Start by adjusting Dak's contract. No,
If
Honestly,
Dak wants to.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the only like, you just saw Mahomes do it. So I feel like Jerry Jones could use that as a little bit of leverage on Dak if he wanted to.
Yeah. I mean, once again, it all depends if Dak wants to, because they can't do it without his consent.
Yeah. It really is going to come down to that.
just turn it into a signing bonus and help kick it down the road like they. I don't know. It just feels like there's some. I think they're going to get rid of Kenny Clark, or he's already a free agent, so he's done. Where's the money? Because Mike is not even on the team, so it has to be
Lamb. Also, Trayvon Diggs was on a stupidly huge deal. Deron Bland is being massively overpaid as well, I believe. Quinnen Williams also. Wait, because didn't the Jets extend Williams and then trade him?
I think he had the extension before he got traded.
Yeah, so there's that. So it's literally just going because a lot of it too is that horrible Trayvon Diggs contract. You know, they cut him and they're still going to have to pay that down. So there's not a lot they can do there. So literally it's going, I think, to Dak, Lamb, and Bland, and technically Diggs, and now Williams.
Yeah. Like, I think Tuck makes a great point that Kenny Clark's probably going to have to be the odd man out here because there's a potential out after this season. Or this coming season. It's potential out going into this season or for 2026, and there's no dead cap if they cut him either.
Yeah.
Oh, Tyler Smith is the third highest paid player on the team.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I thought. Okay, yeah, I knew they had a lineman, so makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I don't see Trayvon Diggs on the books. Like he should be higher up here, but I don't see him.
He's probably off the books then.
Oh, never mind. Okay, well, if they got his stupidly massive contract off the books and they're still that far in the red, they're just super screwed, aren't they?
Yeah, Deron makes $12 million. Terrence Steele makes 13.
I was just about to say maybe like your next
is not good.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe your next move is getting ready to Steele, but like because he's 29, but he's not a free agent till 2029.
Well, yeah. Plus, his contract I think was backloaded too.
Yeah.
They have to make some moves in order to make this team competitive.
Yes.
Yeah. No, they do. It's gonna involve a lot of cuts. That's for sure.
Yep.
This was news on Thursday when, but it was after the fact that we had got done recording. The state of Indiana has basically essentially agreed to allowing the Chicago Bears to move in on a lease, and they did it in a quicker enough time than the city of Chicago did. So it's not been announced. Nothing's really set in stone yet, but it seems that there is a good chance that the Bears move to Indiana. but so no more being in Arlington Heights for them. But I guess say what you will, owners, this and that. I mean, at the end of the day, if the Bears end up making this move, right? It sounds like it's not going to be that big of a deal, considering that it's not that far away from Chicago, anyways, and the Bears technically don't even play in Chicago. They, like I said, they play in Arlington Heights. And it also sounds like it would be a lot easier to get to said new stadium compared to going to Arlington Heights as well.
But do we have to call them the Indiana Bears? Can we still call them Chicago?
It probably still won't be the Indiana Bears. It's still probably going to end up being the Chicago Bears, but
that sounds wrong. Like, if someone, man, they're called the Chicago Bears, but you have to go to Indiana, even though Chicago's in no.
Well, they'd be going like right over the Indiana line because
it doesn't matter where the line is. It's still Indiana. It's not Illinois.
First of all, actually, hold up. Can I talk about this? Because as somebody who knows a lot about like local governments and stuff, this is kind of something that I've been keeping tabs on since like 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to point out they do not play in Arlington Heights. Arlington Heights is a suburb of Chicago, and Soldier Field is like right by the lake. You see, the reason you're thinking of Arlington Heights was that is where the Bears were threatening to move originally. So you have to go back to like 2022, 2023. And the Bears were upset, that they want more money poured into their stadium, and they just weren't getting that. And you see, the thing is, local governments will beat each other to death if it means even getting a lottery ticket of a professional sports team. And the main person to look at here back then was the old Chicago mayor. Her name was Lori Lightfoot. And the Bears are saying, we want a new stadium. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, Soldier Field is historic. And as most laws are with historical landmarks, you can't really do a whole lot to it. So the Bears just said, well, we want a new stadium. And so enter Arlington Heights, which is a really affluent suburb of, I think it's like northwest of Chicago. And their local government's trying to lure them over. And it got so bad that the old mayor pitched this is on ESPN from back in 2022. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot pitches dome for Soldier Field to entice the Bears to remain at the stadium.
I remember that.
So there was that. So that was the whole thing. And that's really where we started to hear the original rumblings. But it kind of, Lori Lightfoot, in case you were wondering, like this actually kind of plays into it. She didn't win re-election. So people were like, oh, okay, because she didn't really handle the situation the best. This is not like a political show, of course. This is just fact. That wasn't like the reason, but so people were like, oh, okay, new change coming in, like maybe. So the issue was kind of like subdued for a bit, right? Because, every new mayor gets that grace period. And, well, you can only keep that grace period for so long. And their new mayor, a man by the name of Brandon Johnson, basically inherited all of Lightfoot's old problems. And, he's trying desperately to keep them out of Arlington Heights. But the thing is, they'd still be in Illinois, right? They'd still at least be in suburban Chicago. Well, technically not Chicago, but you understand what I mean.
Yeah, close enough. And
there was a bill in the works, and this is now flash forward to this month, Illinois House Bill 2789, which would have funded a new stadium. And honestly, they might not even vote on it. Some people in the Illinois State House actually, I think, want it pulled because there's another bill in the state of Indiana that was which was signed off on by some like House committee over there. 24-0, unanimous.
Yeah,
that says, all right, we're just going to give them funding. And if you're the Bears as an organization, they're just going to follow the money. Look, we can talk about whether or not it's right, but that's just how it is. So the Bears, I'm going to be real with you. Get ready to say Indiana Bears because the city of Chicago is just screwed. And I just, you feel bad for the fans, right? I mean, that's really what it is. Now, the current mayor, Brandon Johnson, says the city of Chicago isn't giving up. But some of the state leaders, like Governor J.B. Pritzker, they've kind of seen the writing on the wall here. And you don't really want to go gently into that good night, but you kind of have to. It's all but over unless they bend over backwards and give them wheelbarrows full of money, then I highly doubt the Bears are going to stay. And they're literally taking like actual, real, meaningful steps, according to the Associated Press, to leave Chicago. And after that key committee in Indiana from their state legislature unanimously voted to fund them, honest to God, that's pretty much it. The ball's in Chicago's court, or the Chicago Bears, not the city. Oh no, they do not get a say. They don't get a say. They just don't. And finally, this is the big thing here. Is it's all about the fans, right? Because let's be real. Until this year, the Bears were not good. And the last time they were even in the playoffs was the 2018-19 season. For reference, I was a junior in high school, and you two guys were seniors. That's the last time the Bears were in the playoffs. And before that, they had to suffer through the Jay Cutler era.
No, 17-18, you would have been a sophomore. I was a junior.
18-19 is when they made it, not 17-18.
Yeah, 18-19.
Oh, 18-19.
Yeah, with Trubisky, they just traded for Khalil Mack.
Trubisky is a Pro Bowler because of that season. I need you guys to remember this.
Yeah. And further proof that the Pro Bowl means nothing, but let's keep tracking here. So Axios Chicago ran a poll, right, for people in the area. And 74% of their fans would hold a grudge against the team if they moved. And and 65% of them say they should no longer be called the Chicago Bears. 72% of them want them to change their slogan, which is Bear Down. So this is going to piss off the fans. And honest to God, you better hope that the Indianapolis Colts don't have a stranglehold on the state, because you are going to be burning more than a few bridges here. So this could blow up in their face. And I just think it's weird. The reason why I bring up they're not good is because imagine you get your first taste of real meaningful success and your first instinct is bull. I don't know if you saw Stephen A. Smith's rant on it where he just says shame on the Bears for leaving. And yeah, I agree. But he also said shame on Chicago because I mentioned their governor kind of saw the writing on the wall. The state of Illinois has all but waved the white flag on this. The Bears... Chris, I'm going to need you to do me a favor. Right there, you see how that says the Indiana Bears? Get rid of that explanation or the question mark. It's coming. It's actually, this could happen. And, it's weird because we live in this nothing ever happens world, but we might actually have to see the Hammond, Indiana Bears, which I'm sorry, that's disgusting. That is actually disgusting. And if you know where Hammond is, if you're familiar with the layout of Illinois, it's on I think the northwest corner. So it's just over the line, over the state line. It's still in a city, but still Indiana. Imagine the Bears. They're one of the oldest teams ever. I think Soldier Field became a thing in it wasn't always called that, but it was in the 1920s or something like that. And you're just going to give that city, which by the way, a city that outside of that one ring with the with Jim McMahon and William Fridge Perry and all them, outside of that one ring, this is a city that you have routinely disappointed, a city that you have routinely let down, and you have the unmitigated audacity that you might be good again just to leave. Look, I got no beef with Caleb Williams or Ben Johnson or anything, but they don't deserve jack. I'm actually hoping they fail now that they've screwed over the city of Chicago.
How's this their fault?
Karma.
They could just build the stadium themselves if they really wanted to move out of Soldier Field.
All right.
Say that again, Chris. I wasn't
I'm not
They
listening.
can just they can just pay for it themselves, but no
Yeah,
one
they
ever does.
could, but they don't do that. No one ever does. I think the only stadium that's like privately funded is the one in New England.
Yep.
In Gillette. But yeah, it's just. But you guys do agree that this is like notoriously scummy, I think, for the Bears to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And I think just the fact that like both the city of Chicago or the state of Indiana and the Bears haven't been able to figure it out in the last 3-4 years is just utterly insane. It's insane. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. It like even having the thought of moving the Bears out of Chicago is almost like imagining if the Packers moved out of Lambeau. Like
Mhm.
it's just shitty.
Inconceivable.
Also, I can't believe you bring up the 85 Bears and don't even say like Walter Payton or Mike Singletary. It's Jim McMahon in the fridge that are the first two.
First of all, you showed some respect to the fridge, you lummox. And second of all, I had a lot more points to make, so I just had to rapid fire some people. Also, there's also, Richard Dent, gotta love him. Walter Payton, of course, Mike Singletary, great player, mediocre coach. But yeah, like I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like
I think like that entire
like
defense.
the fact that's
is
your
in the Hall of
takeaway.
Fame.
Is like that's
That entire defense is not.
You know
I
what I
don't-
mean?
Yeah, but they're Hall of Fame quality. Some of them are.
Yeah. But anyways,
Jeff Fisher was on that team, or the year before or after.
I thought he was like a D-backs coach.
I gotta find this, but
regardless, we're getting off topic. The point is that's just awful.
Yeah.
And we didn't really talk about it, but while we're on the subject of awful, I think we should throw a bone to the Kansas City Chiefs leaving Arrowhead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're moving to Kansas. Like it's kind of like the Bears, where they're just gonna be just over the state line in that tiny little part. I think of like Kansas. I think it's called Wyandotte County, where they're just going to hop over the state line to like that one area where it still kind of spills over into Kansas. But yeah, they're leaving Arrowhead. And,
Yeah.
if you go on Instagram, like when they announced it, their fans were pissed. So you want something else inconceivable? The Chiefs are leaving Arrowhead, and they're going to a dome. Gross.
Yeah. Like, I think we could should we just start listing teams that like we would utterly throw up if they left their stadium?
You know what? Let's run it. Let's do it.
I'll obviously start with the Patriots.
Yeah, and
I'll start
probably
with that.
because I'm a fan, but like Gillette is like a well-known stadium, throughout the Brady years and stuff. You can't picture New England anywhere else.
There's a charm of it being stuck on Route 1 and traffic just filling the entire. There's something so charming about it.
Also, the Patriot Place shopping complex outside of it is just legit. I love
Just
that
the whole
place.
area. It's like that whole just
Mhm.
area is amazing. But Tuck, what about the Ravens?
that's inconceivable. We can't leave M&T Bank Stadium. I hope we never do.
Yeah.
It's a quality stadium, and we always try to renovate it to the best we can.
Mm-hmm. And even still, the Ravens, forget M&T like stadium, just leaving the city of Baltimore would be heinous, because the city of Baltimore has a reputation of just toughness. Tough. What are you looking at? Always ready to fight. And that is manifested in a lot of their players, like Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs, among others, guys that were just scrappers. Like you can't imagine the Ravens leaving Baltimore. And I know, Tuck, you don't want to hear this, but the AFC North, imagine if the Steelers left Pittsburgh. I mean, bad enough, the name of their stadium changed. Look, as a Pats fan, I'll tell you, Heinz Field, that was legit. That's where it was at. Acrisure, look, that took some getting used to. I still don't like it. But the Steelers leaving Pittsburgh, that's just, as a fan, that'd make me vomit.
Yeah, I like growing up on Heinz Field. I mean, people probably said the same thing about Three Rivers Stadium too at the same time back in the 90s and early 2000s before they went to Heinz Field. But like I grew up on that. Just that one hurt. When well, we said the Bears, the Packers. We could probably get those obvious ones out of the way. What are some other ones? I would say probably the Seahawks. They were to move out of their stadium right now, CenturyLink, or not.
Oh,
CenturyLink.
easy. Dallas.
Dallas.
I know they're technically in Arlington, Texas, but come on. There's a reason we call AT&T Stadium Jerry World for a reason. You know, we do that for a reason.
Yeah. I'll throw a team that should move. It's the Dolphins. They should move back to the Orange Bowl.
Hmm.
The Orange Bowl doesn't exist anymore, does it?
No, it doesn't. Well, they should have never moved out of the Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
Is what I mean.
Also, like as far as other popular stadium, can you imagine the Saints playing anywhere other than the Superdome?
No.
You can't. Or imagine the Philadelphia Eagles anywhere outside of the Link.
Well, I mean, they destroyed Veterans Stadium, so
yeah, but still,
but
like
now,
come
yeah,
on, the Link,
like
though? Okay,
like
and
they had to destroy Veterans Stadium.
There's also something else we're forgetting here. I mean, we were talking about the state, but come on, Lucas Oil Stadium. Imagine if the Colts left that.
Yeah.
Then where would the combine be held? Ask yourself.
They actually thought about moving the combine, coincidentally enough, out of Indianapolis.
No, I'm sorry. Can't do that. Can't do that. Where else will we see Rich Eisen run the 40 and then tell us ad nauseum that he went to the University of Michigan?
Detroit. Detroit. Literally go to Detroit and he can talk about going to Michigan.
Okay, well, that was more sarcastic because I don't want to hear that. Well, yeah, hey, well, the combine.
I was just making a fun little connection there.
Right. Actually, hold up. You know, the combine is coming up like soon. I think it's like
that's right.
So I do want to say I want to do a quick little advertisement. I say it every year for the CJ Medeiros drinking game. Watch the combine, take a shot every time Rich Eisen mentions that he went to the University of Michigan.
Yeah,
this game does count the Surgeon General's warning.
Hold on, wait, is it today?
No, it starts. Oh wow, it actually does. How did that slip under our nose?
I think it's in March for some reason.
Well, on-field workouts don't start till the 26th.
Okay, I was like, okay, because we didn't see any headlines for like the combine yet, so I'm like, okay, they haven't done anything yet. But
yeah, well, the on-field workout, that's like the combine, you know.
This is probably just the time where motherfuckers are starting to actually get to Indianapolis and whatnot.
Yeah, we need to start see the actual measurements and see how far they run, jump, and all the other stuff. Truth be told, if they can play or not, that's the only thing I really care about.
They can ball. Yes.
Absolutely.
Since we're kind of on the topic of the moving stadiums, and you mentioned Baltimore and how you can't imagine Baltimore leaving. Have you ever heard the story of how the Indianapolis Colts came to be?
I would imagine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm well aware.
Okay.
And still not fully happy about that. And Cleveland gets mad at us because they left Cleveland to come to Baltimore.
I mean, that the move from Cleveland to Baltimore wasn't clean, but a lot cleaner than the Colts going to Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we became 2-time Super Bowl champions with the Baltimore Ravens, and Cleveland has never recovered.
Yep, that's true. That is true.
And Bill Belichick was the coach before they left. Could you imagine Bill Belichick in Baltimore? I can't.
Nope.
No,
I can't either. But in terms of the combine, we'll get into the combine on Thursday. Evidently enough, being day one of the actual workout part of the combine. So we'll do that. Mm-hmm. Don't worry. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll get into Kyle Pitts getting hit with the tag and a little immaculate grid to end the show. This is the Fumblerooski podcast.
It may not have always showed it in the stat sheet, but you can see him making throws when he needs to make the throws.
Back-to-back games where he has 3 touchdowns. Someone's got to get that 6 or 7 spot.
He's an elite wide receiver as a rookie.
Truly a lose-lose scenario for both sides.
So Kyle Pitts got tagged. We kind of alluded to this last week. This was probably the best option for the Falcons to go towards if they did want to keep him, considering you don't want to sign him to an extension because this was the best year he's had in the 5 years that he's been in the league. And you also have to figure out what you're going to do with Drake London and Bijan, which obviously you want to extend them. and got to have the money for that. So I feel like this was really the only option that the Falcons had was to attack Pitts. Thoughts?
Yes, but again, it's still a problem if they can't get a long-term extension out of him this upcoming during this time period, because they still have players coming up the pike relatively quickly. So it's okay for them to franchise tag him. It's not ideal, but if this helps them get a long-term contract with them, all the more to him, because he had a better season than he did last year, and he's a second-team All-Pro. So I don't think they want to lose him for nothing. So hopefully they're able to get a reasonable contract for him in the Atlanta Falcons. But if this doesn't happen, this may not have been a good idea considering.
Yeah. CJ?
You already know where I stand on the franchise tag. And just like that, I don't know if this is taking the Pitts thing into consideration, but the Falcons are at $10.1 million in cap space right now. The franchise tag for tight ends, I believe, is $15 million. I don't know if they've actually done it yet, because I don't know if Spot Track has taken this into consideration. But yeah, so if that is where they are right now, pre-tag, then they're going to have to make some moves. And we've been over this, or I think Pitts, is too good as a tight end to the point where he kind of becomes a luxury, because you don't need to have a Corvette at every position in some cases where, you want it to be good, but you don't need a Corvette. You don't need a Lambo when maybe just a BMW would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And, we went over this, Bijan still is going to need a contract. London is going to need a contract. And if you're going to tell me I'm going to take Kyle Pitts over Drake London, or especially Bijan, then I question your ball knowledge. So unless the Falcons are about to do some just Olympic level cap gymnastics, which that's only going to put you into the red later on down the line, then I don't know, unless it's a tag and trade where you don't want to lose them for nothing, which I get, but I don't know. It's still kind of a weird move, considering the fact that, like I said, you have two other important guys on your offense that you have to deal with. Kirk Cousins still probably has to be cut or traded, and the defense still needs some fine tuning, especially since James Pierce Jr. might be out of the league.
Yeah. Just having a little fun here with Spot Track and looking down the line. I mean, Falcons right now with $94 million of cap space going into 2027. But
for now.
Yeah, for now. I'm just having fun. Yeah, so this is gonna be an interesting road for them. You mentioned Kirk Cousins as well. Looking at him right now, becomes essentially a free agent in 2028. There is a potential out, though. There is a potential out for 2026, but you eat 35 mil. 35 million dead cap. So the whole situation is less than ideal.
Yep.
For Atlanta, mainly because of that Kirk Cousins contract,
Which is their fault.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
How are you going to get Kirk Cousins and then draft another quarterback?
Which
That
ended
is
up
why
being the right
Terry
move,
Footnote was
unfortunately.
fired.
If
mean,
it pans out, sure, but the risk isn't worth the reward.
Yeah.
Especially with the situation with Penix right now.
Well, especially when you ended up having Penix be the full-time starter, like the contract looks even worse for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, you're getting paid that money to be a bench player? Absolutely not. Go ask the Colts to see if we'll take Kirk Cousins off y'all.
Yeah.
We need quarterback play.
Yeah. Anything else you want to touch on? You guys want to touch on from Pitts?
Not really.
Where do you guys see Pitts right now? As like a player. Like, where do you guys rank him among tight ends?
Definitely top 10.
It's obviously top 10, but is he a top 5-ish tight end?
Probably
Are you
like
putting Kyle Pitts top 10 tight end?
Huh?
Are we
You
already
wouldn't?
putting? I would at least put him like top half of the league, but we're also saying he also still only had one good year so far.
Well, yeah,
He's
that's why I said I don't know, because as far as next year goes, I mean, obviously off the rip, you've got McBride and Kittle who are better. Kelsey, I mean, he's still solid, but he's just more of a volume catches kind of guy. He's not really that, because Kelsey, is weird. Like, he doesn't pass the eye test, and he only puts up those numbers because he gets force fed the ball, which that's just his stats are kind of inflated. Outside of them, I don't know, the league doesn't do the best job at developing and promoting tight ends and such.
I wouldn't even say Kittle right now because he's injured.
Yeah, but he's still good when he's going to be on. Actually, no. Yeah, you're right. He's going to miss all next year with that Achilles tear.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously McBride's number one. You got Brock Bowers, that's huge. Laporta is good. Hunter Henry, New England, quietly in a really good year.
There's Mark Andrews.
Colston Loveland
on years. Colston Loveland. Tyler Warren for Indiana.
Yeah. So yeah, Pitts. I don't know.
I have him top 10, but I'm not sure.
Top 10, yeah, but 5. That's.
He's a second team All Pro, so I could see an argument for 5, but I'm not sure if he makes it higher than 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Fair enough.
All
right, let's do this.
All right, Immaculate Grid, baby. Here we go.
Oh, we're so back.
We're so back.
Absolutely.
All right. For our listeners, we need a Colt and a Ram, a Colt and a Brown, a Colt and a Raider, a Packer and a Ram, Packer and a Brown, a Packer and a Raider, and a full-time Ram, a full-time Brown, and a full-time Raider.
Okay, I think I might have an insane poll here for Colts and Browns.
Okay.
Do you remember the pass rusher Jabal Sheard?
Yes.
Patriots legend. No, 2 A's.
2 A's.
Between the B and the right there, I think.
Oh, 0.6.
That is
0.6. What a pull, CJ.
Thank.
All right.
A Colt and a Raider. Wow. Okay, now the rest, I don't know, fellas.
Colt and a Raider. Colt and a Ram. Who was? Oh, what's his fucking name?
All right.
He's linebacker for the Colts. He had just left the team a little bit ago. I can't think of his name right now.
Zaire Franklin? No.
Yeah, did he go to the Rams or?
I don't think that.
No, I don't think so.
Darius Leonard, no.
Well, we can probably just not. Let's knock out the ones that played for one team. So Rams.
Okay, one team Rams.
Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
Who?
For the Browns, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
Yeah. Basically, gotta get those out of the way, the
2%.
2, nice.
Only 2%. Okay, I'll take that. That's only Raiders. Ken Stabler, no, maybe.
No.
Art Shell, no.
Did Donald Penn ever play anywhere else?
I think he did, but I can't.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't know who or where. Not Cooper, not Green. How far back does this go?
As far back as you can think, dude.
Clay Matthews and the Green Bay Packers for the LA Rams.
Wait a minute. All right.
He did play for the Rams?
Yes. But yeah.
I don't know how obvious it's going to be. Let's see.
36%.
Hey, I might have one for the Raiders.
Okay.
But he is considered the best center of all time. Jim Otto. I know he played 14 years there, and I know he was the only one, but I don't know how far back it goes.
Told you. I mean, it's
2%.
Clay,
All right.
I mean, Clay
'Cause I
Matthews.
was worried because Otto is like considered, and especially by me, to be the best center of all time. So I
mean,
don't
Clay Matthews' freaking grandfather was on there, and he played in 1950. So
Yeah.
this was
Did
and Jim
Jack
Otto
Young
started playing in 1960.
for the Rams? Did Jack Youngblood play for the Rams?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yeah,
Jack
that's true.
Youngblood. Ho, forgot about this guy. 2%.
Wow,
Never
two's
forget,
on the
dude.
only one team. That's huge.
Never forget, played on 2 broken legs in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
What a beast, man.
Browns and Packers. Browns and Packers. Shit, that's going to be hard.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one.
Did Marquez Valdez-Scantling ever find his way to Cleveland?
No.
It seems like a place he'd be, right? Because he can't catch. But you get it. Wow.
This is
a tough one.
And I can't even come up for someone with this one. Damn. And we were doing so good too.
We're doing great. Colts, Rams. Gosh. This is rough. Marshall Faulk.
That's like the most obvious, though.
Yeah, but you get to a point where you kind of have to go with the most obvious if you can't think of anything else.
Wow, I should that be like 60 or something, but fair enough.
31.
Okay, so
I might just see like the other.
Oh my God, Eric Dickerson. How did we miss that?
Oh, how did we forget about Eric Dickerson? Oh no. Oh no.
Oh my God. I don't know if he played there though, but I know he might have been a backup. For Browns Packers, DeShone Kizer.
He played.
Yeah, I think he did.
He played for the Browns.
What? 41. Wow.
That's a lot of people know of DeShone Kizer. He went 0-16, man.
I mean, yeah, but like, wow.
When you're
sorry,
the quarterback
guys.
of a team,
I'm sorry. Wow.
When you're the quarterback of a team that won 0-16,
Yeah.
you get remembered pretty easily.
Yeah. Packers, Raiders.
Charles Woodson.
Yeah, but that's obvious.
Super obvious.
Yeah.
Well, so is Kizer. I don't know how I fumbled that.
Yeah. I'm going Charles Woodson unless you guys can think of any others, but
a Packer and a Raid. I think there was an offensive lineman.
Did Rasul Douglas?
No, he didn't.
No.
I'm going Charles Woodson. 16%. It's not bad.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
All right, a Colt and a Raider though.
This is our last one, and we've done great so far.
Yeah, let's lock in here, fellas.
Colt and a Raider. Damn.
Yes.
I feel like there's a really obvious one that's just staring me in the face.
Yeah, I know. There's always like I always get this feeling too.
Yes, and it's crazy.
Did Philip Dorsett ever go to the Raider? Oh my God, Philip Dorsett.
Did he play
I think he's there now, like as we speak. I think he is a Raider. Wait.
I'm pretty sure he's not even in the league.
Wait, no. Wait, hold up. No. I remember. No. He's on their practice squad. I just realized because I remember he was signed to their practice squad this offseason, and this doesn't count practice squad. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay. We only have one guest left.
Well, that's how these things work.
Come
on.
Did DeQuell Jackson ever play for the Raiders?
I think he did. I can't say though. Damn. No, I'm not. What?
It's got to be like someone from like the 80s or something. 80s or 90s, but like the Colts weren't good in the 80s and 90s.
Trayvon Mullen.
Wow, that's
Oh, did Rock Ya-Sin play for the Colts?
At this
Oh,
point, we gotta just throw out a name here.
okay.
Oh,
Rocky Sin is one. That's somebody that I would think of.
How do you spell his name?
Wait, hold up. Remember how we missed Eric Dickerson?
Yeah.
Eric Dickerson, I think, spent 1 year with the Raiders, like at the very end.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am certain.
Oh my goodness! Woo! What a pull!
that
Oh,
was-
and how many people got him? Because a lot of people forget that he ended his career with the Raiders.
Uh,
No, like the percentage, like let's Q.
4%. How about
I'll take it.
that?
I'll take it.
Let's do some other ones. Kerry Collins. That would have been a good one. Amir Abdullah. Mentioned Eric Dickerson. Jeff George. Okay. Darius Hayward Bay.
Yes.
Brian Hoyer. Another one. Can't believe we didn't think of Brian Hoyer. Not a lot of big names in here though, outside of like, as we mentioned, Dickerson, Collins.
Yeah.
Kind of curious.
I gotta find this.
Nice. That was our immaculate grid.
Yeah. Way to go, us! I knew we could do it.
Way to be. We did it. First perfect one this year of the offseason.
Mullins.
So play. All right. That's all the scheduled content that we have for you today. Anything else on the ledger you guys want to talk about?
No,
nothing else.
Good. Combine's coming soon, so we'll have to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that on Thursday. But other than that, thank you for tuning in to another Tuesday episode of the Fumblerooski podcast. New episode coming out on Friday at 8 a.m. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we also have all our episodes available anywhere that you can stream podcasts or listen to podcasts. Also, be sure to follow our Instagram, Fumblerooski_podcast, to keep up with the pod and the latest coverage on the NFL. Otherwise, we'll see you on Friday. Over and out.